Good evening. It's a fine, blustery, sun is setting evening here in eastern North Carolina. And if you haven't been paying attention to the news, it's a scorcher, like a lot of the rest of the country and some of the world. So, anyways, we're not here to talk about the weather. What we are here to talk about, though, are deer. And this is why I'm building this. My brother-in-law recently came to visit, and he brought me a lovely batch of like 8-foot-long bamboo stakes. Let's do a close-up on one. Now they vary in thickness, but they're about an inch in general, on average. And what I did is I ran them all the way down because eventually this part of the rose garden will be solid. There's not going to be a back entrance, back gate to the back alley here, because the back alley is going to be where I can run my tractor and heavy other things that I don't want, if I don't care about messing up the lawn here in the future if I need to. Maybe some heavy machinery or whatnot. Plus this zone also floods heavily. So instead of running the rose garden right up to the property line, which is in the trees, I just ran it to here and I left like myself roughly 15 foot or so wide gap. But the deer like to come from the trees into the rose garden. And let me show you what they've been up to recently. So, if you've been paying attention to the channel, if you're new, welcome. But if you're an old timer, you've been around for a while, you've noticed I put up these bamboo stakes. And that kept the deer out for a very small amount of time until Bambi, the babies, decided that they could sort of slip in between them and get to the roses. So they did. At least I'm pretty sure it was them. I have no actual evidence. No photographs, no pictures. But I'm pretty sure it was them. The next thing that happened was I put up some twine and I sprayed everything heavily with the deer spray. That didn't quite seem to do the trick. Then I got this black, like packing material, packing strapping, and it's supposed to be embedded with anti-deer, smelly stuff, whatever. Fine, put that up. That seemed to do the trick for a little while, then it kind of stopped. So then I continued to do the deer sprays on a religious basis. And all this was fine and good until recently. Now, the deer have gotten into the garden again. And I think part of the reason why was because right here I had a couple of saw horses. Can't say that 3 times fast. And a chair. Well, the chair kind of blew over, thus opening up a gap, and somehow I think the deer slipped in. At least this is my theory. I could be entirely wrong. So I'm going to go around and spray everything again with the deer spray. I'm going to work on building up that fence. Now, I got a lot of the vertical posts up. And what I'm going to do is I have some bamboo canes that I'm going to run, thinner ones that I'm going to run horizontally. And I'll probably do like 2 rows. And hopefully what this will do is just deter the deer enough that they won't be bothered to jump over it. They'll just go, can't be bothered, moving on. That's my hope. Yeah. So let me, let me show you how I spray this, or what I spray it with. So I've used several products over the years, or year I should say. It's been a year and change since I've been here. And this latest one was bought from a local garden center. I Must Garden Deer Repellent. And it's got a spice scent to it. Like all of them, it claims to be rain resistant, although I find that highly dubious. But I'm going to give everything a squirt anyways and hope for the best. Well, let me show you the damage the deer have done. Okay, so this rose bush, this is Mr. Lincoln. He's the first one towards the outer edge over here. And he had some lovely red, brand new leaves coming out. I don't see any red new leaves. They're all gone. So, yeah, that's Mr. Lincoln. This is Olivia Rose Austin. It also had lovely new red leaves on it, fresh new leaves. I was very happy. The deer nibbled those away. We're going to skip all the others and come right to the end. And this is Thomas Becket. All the new growth on that one is gone. So it's a windy night, but I'm going to give everything a spray here in the rose garden. And then we're going to move on to a few other places in the garden that I do spray to try to keep the deer away. And let's see how those are faring. So there you go. I sprayed the roses, and we'll see what happens. I also have another surprise I'm going to try to set up for them later. Now, this is one of my peach trees, and I don't know if you can tell, but the deer are enjoying eating the lower leaves. Thankfully, it has a lot more leaves up top. Well, that's no bueno for the tree. I also have a fig beneath it, or behind it, I'm sorry. I have a fig behind it. They also like to nibble on that. So I'm going to spray both of these, even though I just sprayed them just a few days ago. I'm going to spray them again. This here, behind this fence, with this can that's filled with pebbles, is a red Jonathan apple tree. I got it as a bare root from Arbor Day Foundation. It was a little thing, and it started growing. And this spring it put up a lot of leaves. It's awesome. Then the deer came by and ate the leaves off. They left me a few on top, so since they almost wiped it out, I've been trying my best to keep the deer away from it. This too will get sprayed again. And this here is my Gala apple tree. It was beautiful in January. It was even better in May. June looked fabulous. Then recently they started nibbling on it. They broke off a leader, and they've gone to town on it a few times. I should probably build a fence around this guy too, like I did the Jonathan apple. In the meantime, now there's a bunch of other plants around the garden that it will spray, but I'm not going to bore you with all of them. Interestingly enough, they did take a nibble out of the Mexican sunflower that's growing beneath me. I don't think it's a big deal because it looks like it's recovering from that, and the deer probably don't like it, seeing as they never touched the big one. So, with the big bundle of Mexican sunflower. Well, this is the best time to work in the shade. Well, this is the time to work in the shade is summertime, because you don't want to be out in that sun. You cook yourself. Even though I probably have to do that tomorrow and mow some of the lawn, but I digress. I do have one other surprise for the deer that I'm going to try to set up, and I'm going to let that be a surprise for you guys too, so just wait 1 second. The last thing I've done to try to prevent the deer from getting back into the rose garden, at least in the near future, is put down a motion sensor sprinkler. So if the deer walk within, I think it's like 20 feet of the sprinkler, it's going to go off. It'll just shoot a quick, like 3-second stream of water, and the deer hopefully will run away in panic and fear. We will see. Like I said, I think it's deer that are doing the damage. Now, I have seen a rabbit in the neighborhood, but I don't know if the rabbits are really going for that top fresh growth. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a trail camera to see if I can catch the culprit as to whom is doing the damage here in the garden. Again, I suspect the deer because they are voracious SOBs, but it could very well be a rabbit, which I've seen in the neighborhood. Either way, if you've had problem with deer or rabbits or other critters munching on your beloved plants or vegetables, please leave your comments below. Let me know what you've done to battle them, and the wars continue. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.